Hey guys, this is Miss Englert. It should be Monday, March 23rd, 2020. You should be at home practicing social distancing and doing your classwork. So, we're going to continue on for what we did a couple weeks ago, where we were talking about insulation and the sunlight and all that good stuff in the seasons. So, today's aim is how does the sun travel across the sky? So, your do now is right here. It says, the complete apparent path of the sun around the earth is a circle. So when you look outside, it appears as if the sun moves in a circle around the entire earth. We know that's not true. The earth revolves around the sun, but it appears to us as if the sun moves in a circle around us. So part of the circle is above the horizon, which we call daytime, and part is below the horizon. That's nighttime. The total angular distance around a circle is 360 degrees. The question you guys have is how many degrees per hour does the sun appear to move around the earth? So you got to do a little thinking. So if the sun appears to move in a circle, it goes in 360 degrees. How long does it take for the sun to make that full circle? So that should be intuitive to you. For a day is 24 hours. So your job is to use this information, 360 degrees in 24 hours. How many degrees per hour does the sun appear to move? So, next slide. So, I'm going to read these in case you didn't read them already as you did the Pear Deck. If you're watching this video, please go through and complete the Pear Deck and write down the answers to these questions. So important things about these videos are the images to the left. As you can see, in the left, there is a person standing in the middle of the diagram. There is what appears to be a globe over them, and then if you look on the ground, there are the cardinal directions, north, east, south, and west. You can see the sun labeled, and the arrows show you how the sun moves across the sky. On this particular diagram, it's showing you the noon sun on the equinoxes, which are March and September. We're going to start with spring. So consider the changing path of the sun for an observer facing south at 42 degrees north latitude in New York State. So you go out in the middle of the street. There shouldn't be any cars out right now, so go out in the middle of the street. Don't leave your house. But imagine you did that, and you are looking directly south. This is what the image is showing you. On March 21st, it would have been 2 days ago for you. March 21st is the spring equinox as shown in the image to the left. This is also called the vernal equinox. The sun rises due east at 6 a.m. It moves to the observer's right as it climbs to a noon altitude angle of 48 degrees. So you're standing in the middle of the street, you're looking exactly south. If you look up off the horizon, so you look at the street level, you look up to 48 degrees, you're going to see the noontime sun. Should you stare at the sun? No, but if you were, that's what you were to see. In the afternoon, the sun continues to the right. So it rose in the east, and now it's going west, and it's going to set west at 6 p.m. So of the sun's circular path that is 360 degrees, half is in the sky and half is below the horizon. So that's what gives us 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. So please answer the questions through these next few slides. For spring, it's saying, what day is this image representing for question 1? Question 2, next slide, how many hours of daylight occur on the equinox? Next slide, number 3, what does the term zenith or zenith mean? You're going to need to look at the diagram and interpret it. Number 4, does the sun reach the zenith in New York State on this day? And we're moving on to autumn. So the autumnal equinox occurs about September 22nd. On that day, sunrise occurs at 6 a.m. due east and sunset at 6 p.m. due west. The sun follows the same path it took 6 months earlier on the spring equinox. The image to the left is accurate for both equinoxes. Because there are not exactly 365 days in a year, periodic adjustments have to be made in our calendar. So sometimes, I think last year actually, the equinox was on September 23rd. Some years it's the 21st. So the dates of the beginning of the seasons are going to vary from year to year. So I want you guys to answer the questions in your Pear Deck. 5, what is the altitude of the sun above the horizon during the equinoxes? 6, how many degrees does the sun move across the sky in an hour? Number 7, does the sun appear to rise during the equinoxes? 8, where does the sun appear to set during the equinoxes? And then we move on to summer. So summer is the longest period of daylight in New York State, and it occurs 3 months after March 21st. So it happens on June 21st, and that is our summer solstice. On that date, the sun actually rises in the northeast, at about 4:30 a.m. Standard Time. But because the United States has daylight savings time, it is actually at 5:30 a.m. and it's going to set at 7:30 p.m. Standard Time, or 8:30 p.m. daylight savings time. So I know none of you guys are awake at 5:30 a.m. on the summer, so just trust me on this one. And you guys don't have to go try it out for yourselves if we see that. Actually, June 21st is about Regents Week, if we have it. Please keep studying, just in case we do. I want you guys to do well. Anyways, New York has about 15 hours of daylight in the summer because the sun rises into the northeast and sets in the northwest. What this does is if you look on the diagram to the left, you can see that circle, now the one with the big arrow, has moved, and it actually makes it so more of that circle, 60% of the sun's circular path, is above the horizon. So it gives us 15 hours of daylight. Crazy. So this is when the noon sun is highest in New York State. It makes it to about 71.5 degrees above the horizon. So imagine you're standing in the middle of the street, you look out, look at the street level, and then you look up 71.5 degrees above the horizon, and you'll see the sun. It's still 18.5 degrees below the zenith, thank goodness, because New York City summers are terrible as it is. Can you imagine if we had more direct sunlight? What do you think that the weather would be like here? I wouldn't live here, for sure. Anyways, so the insolation is strongest this time of the year, and officially summer starts on June 21st. So your questions are on the slide. How long in hours is a day on the New York summer solstice in New York? How many degrees does the sun travel across the sky in an hour? What is the difference of the altitude of the summer noon sun and the spring or autumn noon sun? And then what is the altitude of the summer noon sun? Oh, last one. Oh, I think there's 2 more. Where does the sun appear to rise during the summer solstice? And where does the sun appear to set during the summer solstice? And we move on to winter. So the first day of winter occurs each year between December 21st and December 23rd. This is like with the dates, I keep messing around. So this is called the winter solstice. On that day, the sun rises in the southeast, as shown in the figure below. So glad I'm now seeing these typos. Its path through the sky is relatively short, and the sun sets in the southwest. Rises in the southeast, sets in the southwest. If you look at the diagram, you can see that the thick arrow where you can see the sun's path during this time of the year, that circle, the semicircle, is much smaller. So what this does is it actually only allows 40% of the sun's path above the horizon, which makes our days much shorter. So sunrise doesn't occur until 7:30 a.m., and it sets about 4:30 p.m. So the length of daylight at 42 degrees north on the winter solstice is about 9 hours. So we only get 9 hours of daylight, which is only 40% of the day we have sunlight, which is why during the winter you guys feel so tired. I was talking to some of you guys in my 8th period class that human bodies are designed, the circadian rhythm, our bodies are designed, or we evolved rather, to want to go to sleep when it's dark out. So during the wintertime, if you feel tired, if you feel like you just want to sleep all the time, it's because your body is literally telling you to do so. So don't feel bad. Everyone feels like that. As we're getting more daylight, you guys will start to feel better. Hopefully. Where was I? Oh, the maximum altitude of the sun at solar noon is only about 24.5 degrees above the southern horizon. The sun is never very high in the sky, even at noon, so it's only 24.5 degrees above the horizon. So if you stand out in the middle of the street, in the middle of winter, look down the road, look south, and look up 23.5 degrees, you see the sun, and you actually can tell the wintertime sun is like, it seems super weak. Like, you can actually do not stare at the sun, but during the wintertime, you can even just feel it. The sun just seems weaker. The sun isn't weaker, it's just that it's at a lower angle and we're not getting very direct sunlight. So your questions are on the slides. 15, how long in hours is a day on the winter solstice in New York State? Ooh, we skipped to 23. Okay. What is the difference of the altitude of the winter noon sun and the spring or autumn noon sun? Maybe 24. What is the altitude of the winter noon sun? Where does the sun appear to rise during the winter solstice? Where does the sun appear to set during the winter solstice? And that's the end of the slides. So hopefully you guys got something out of this recording. I'm hoping that it actually did record. Let's see if this was recording. Yay! It did it. Okay. So go through the Pear Deck, type in your answers. If you need to go back and review this video a little bit more, feel free. And I hope you guys are making good decisions, washing your hands, and being well. And feel free to email me if you have more questions. If not, good luck. Try to get this done in the next 2 days here, guys. Bye.